Okay, so in this segment of the pre-trip, we're going to do the outside of the bus. When you do the outside of the bus, we always say work from the top down to the bottom and from left to right, just like reading the book. So the first part of this is as you approach the bus, you're going to look for it to be leaning one way to the left or to the right, and you're also going to be looking underneath for leaks to ensure that nothing has happened and the fluid's leaking underneath. Looking for it leaning left or right is going to tell you if there's a possible problem with the tire or the suspension being broken or flat. So if you're starting at the top, I'm starting looking at my clearance lights, making sure that they're not cracked, damaged, or broken and secure. I'm then moving to my school bus sign. My school bus sign is in place in clear and readable. I then move to my 8-way lighting system. I have red lights on the outsides and amber lights on the inside. They're clean, clear, not cracked, damaged, or broken. I then move to my windshield. I have 2 panes of glass on my windshield, not cracked, damaged, or broken. It's also clean as well. I'm then looking at my windshield wipers both left and right, and also my state police school bus inspection and my state inspection 10 of 22, which is, they are both valid as well. I'm looking at the hood and making sure that the paint is not faded, and I'm also checking to make sure that the hood is secure at this point. Moving to the left side, I'm looking at my cross view mirrors. I'm touching them, making sure that they're secure, not loose. The mirror is not cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's also clean as well. I move down to my grill area. There's no obstructions to the grill area to prevent the airflow that needs to get to the engine. I'm also looking at my headlights and the lenses. They're secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Same thing with this side, secure to the bus. The mirror itself, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Headlight lens on this side, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and also secure. The bumper is secure, no obstructions. The crossing arm, also secure to the bumper and moves freely, not obstructed for the movement.
All right, so when we do the under the hood, you're going to do it the same as what we did for the front. I teach from inside out and feel and touch everything. What we're going to talk about are air lines, our heater hoses, all our wiring, my radiator hose. All hoses are not cracked, damaged, or broken, and they have no leaks. If it has air or water, it has no leaks. The next thing we're going to talk about, move from the inside, is my alternator is not cracked, damaged, or broken. My serpentine belt is not cracked, damaged, or broken, and if you push on it, it will not move more than 3/4 of an inch. My air compressor belt is not cracked, damaged, or broken. You can't see my radiator fan moves freely. You can't see it, but the water pump is down in here, and my power steering pump is on the back side of this frame. They are not cracked, damaged, or broken. They have no leaks. This is our air compressor. It is not cracked, damaged, or broken. It is no leaks. Again, if it has air or water, no leaks. The next we're going to move to is our steering column. My steering column and steering knuckles on each side are not cracked, damaged, or broken. They are mounted securely. This is your steering gearbox. It is not cracked, damaged, or broken. It has no leaks. This is my pitman arm, and the drag link is down here. Is not cracked, damaged, or broken. It has no leaks. The castle nut is secure, top and bottom with cotter pin. This over here is the power steering reservoir. It is not cracked, damaged, or broken. It has no leaks. It is at the proper level. We have the oil dipstick is right here. If we're to check it, you pull it out, wipe it off, stick it back in. to check the oil. It is not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaks. Down here, the rusted looking is the exhaust manifold. It is not cracked, damaged, or broken. It has no leaks. The frame is not cracked, damaged, or broken. It has no leaks. Each tire has the same suspension parts. We have the leaf springs. The leaf spring shackle is front and back. The U-bolts and the shock absorber. The leaf spring is not, the shackles are not cracked, damaged, or broken. They are not shifted. If they were shifted, would indicate a crack. The shock absorber is secure, top and bottom. There are no leaks. As I said earlier, this is the pitman arm. This is the drag link. That is not cracked, damaged, or broken. This is the air line, ABS line. This is the air chambers. They are not cracked, damaged, or broken. They have no leaks. The buses have the same suspension parts on all 4 tires, on the front axles and the back axles. Again, they are the leaf springs, the leaf spring shackles, the U-bolts, and the shock absorber. Also, the buses have the same brake parts on all 4 tires. They have the air line, the ABS line, the air chamber. They have the caliper, they have the rotor, and they have the brake pads. The brake pads have to be a minimum of 1/4 inch. All 4 tires have the same brake parts. Okay, when you complete that side under the hood, you'll come around to this side under the hood and let the instructor know that we have the same suspension parts and the same brake parts on this side, and I would check those the same as I would the other side. The things that are different on this side is my windshield washer reservoir, my coolant reservoir. They are not cracked, damaged, or broken. They are no leaks. They are secure. My transmission dipstick, to check this, the engine would be running, bus in neutral. I pull it out, wipe it off, and stick it back in. The only thing that we didn't mention earlier was when you check the tread depth on the tire, front tires have to be 4/32 minimum tread depth. We would check those with a tire gauge, a tread depth indicator. The pressure on the tires are 105 psi. We would check those by using a tire pressure gauge.
Okay, so now working our way down the side of the bus. I'm looking at my marker light. It's secured to the bus. The lenses are clean, clear. They're not cracked, damaged, or broken. When we move to the front tire, it's important to remember that there's 3 sides to a tire, and you have to check all 3 sides of the tire. So on the side walls, both inner and outer, you're looking for dry rot, you're looking for bulges, and then you're moving yourself down to the rim. You're looking for no cracks or welds in the rim. I don't see any cracks or welds. You're moving yourself to the lug nuts. You're making sure all the lug nuts are tight. You're also looking for rust trails on the studs, which indicate possibly a loose lug nut. You're moving yourself then into the hub. You're making sure that the hub is secure, none of the bolts are loose, and then you're looking for oil leaks around the hub or grease, which would indicate that you have a problem with your hub. When you move inside, you're looking at the inside of the tire the same way. You're looking for bulges, you're looking for dry rot. And then at the top of the tire where the tread is, you're making sure that you have more than 4/32 of an inch of tread. When I move down to the side, I'm looking at the entire side of the bus at this point to look for any damage to the bus. I'm looking at the glass, making sure that the glass is clear, not cracked, damaged, or broken. I move to the side view mirror. It's secure to the bus as well. I'm looking at the glass to make sure it's clean, clear, not cracked, damaged, or broken. I then move to the fuse panel box. It's locked and secured. And then I move to the battery compartment. I open the battery compartment, making sure that the battery tray is secure, and I'm also looking to make sure that the connections on the battery secure as well, no corrosion or anything to prevent or discharge the batteries. I move to the stop sign. The stop sign is free, pliable. It's the lenses are secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken on both sides, and it's free, not obstructed to move. I'm looking at the black rub rails to make sure that they're marked in accordance, being a different color as opposed to the bus. I'm looking at the side marker lens. It's clean and clear, not cracked, damaged, or broken. I'm looking at my marker lights at the top. The first two sets of marker lights are going to be amber in color to the front of the rear axle. The last marker light at the rear of the bus, which is behind the rear tire, is red in color. So those colors have to be amber to the front of the tire, red to the rear of the rear axle. I'm working my way back. I'm making sure that the emergency exits are marked. Emergency exit, that's clear, visible. We have two on this side of the bus. They're both marked as they should be. And they are also marked with the reflective tape around the emergency exits as required as well. When I move to the rear tire, same thing as the front. There's three sides to every tire, and then there's also a spacing in between, which is called the bud spacing, which has to be clear of any obstructions. We're also checking the rear wheels the same. All the lug nuts are tight and secure. No rust trails that indicate anything might be loose. The rim is not cracked or welded. Also the hub, those bolts are secure. No rust trails indicating anything being loose there. No signs of any oil or grease leaks there. Mud flap is in place, tight and secure. I'm also looking, I forgot to mention the reflector. The reflector on the side is also required. It's amber to the front. And then if you'll notice, this one to the rear is a red reflector, just like the marker lights that we talked about before. Propane bus, so on the side you're making sure that this is secure and that the netting on the underside is also in place and not missing. Okay, so under the bus what we're looking for is, like I said, we start at the front, we work our way to the rear. I'm looking at the transmission and the transmission mount to make sure everything looks secure. There, I don't see any cracks, welds, or anything broken or excessive rust. I'm looking at my frame. I'm looking at that from the front all the way to the back to make sure, again, I don't see any cracks or excessive rust that would cause structural insecurity. I'm looking at my drive shaft, make sure that there's no obstructions on the drive shaft, making sure nothing's wrapped around it to prevent it from moving freely. And I'm also looking at the drive shaft loops that are required as well to keep the drive shaft in place in case it should fall off. I'm also looking at my exhaust system. It's secure. I don't see any excessive rust or holes or black on the exhaust that indicate that there might be some sort of a leak. As I'm working my way back as well, I see my air tanks here. I don't see any signs of, they're secure, and I don't see any signs of leaks as well. Checking the hoses or the tubing. Here, I don't see where there are any bulges in the tubing or cracks to indicate that that the air would be leaking. Okay, so we're moving on with our pre-trip inspection for the rear of the bus. So it's the same as you start at the rear is the same as the front. You start from top to bottom and left to right. So the first thing we're looking at up here is our clearance lights. Remember, they're to the rear of the axle, so they're red in color. Now this bus is equipped with a backup camera. Not all buses have the backup camera, but it's secure to the bus, and the clearance lights are not cracked, damaged, or broken, and they're clean and secure. When we move then, we're looking at our school bus sign to make sure it's clear and legible, and also emergency exit being marked properly. Everything is clear and legible there. And then our reflective strip marking the rear of the bus, we're making sure that it's clear and legible and secure to the bus as well. We then move to our 8-way lights. The outside lights are red. The inside lights are your yellow or your amber color. They're not cracked, damaged, or broken, and they're clean and secure. We're also looking at our glass to make sure our glass is not cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's clean as well. We then move to our turn signal lenses on the outsides. We're looking at our brake lights, which are our insides, and our reverse lights as well. The smaller lenses are your brake lights and marker lights as well, with the license plate light being at the bottom here. All of those lenses are secured to the bus, not cracked, damaged, or broken. They're also clean as well. You're making sure your license plate is legible and secure to the bus as well. Then moving to the door, the emergency exit door, you're making sure that the handle works freely and that the hinges are not too tight so that the door opens free. This is a positive stop arm. You're making sure this functions as properly, so when you open the door the whole way, it should catch and not let the door close until you open it again, and then it should close. While this is open, you're looking at your seal around the door to make sure it's not dry rotted and make sure it's secure to the bus as well. The bumper is in place, secure, black in color, and the exhaust secure as well, not extending past the bumper more than 2 inches. Tow hooks, both in place, secure to the bus, not an obstruction, not sticking out. Okay, so this is the start of our pre-trip inspection for whenever you enter the bus. So the first thing I would do upon entry is check the step well. I'm looking for loose treads and any obstructions to the step well. Checking the handrail, making sure it's tight and secure. Same thing on this side, the handrail, make sure it's tight and secure. I'm looking at the kick plate as well to make sure that it's secure as well. Then I enter the bus, still looking at the stepwell area and the treads and the aisle strip to make sure there's no obstructions, nothing loose, no sharp edges. As I enter the bus then, I turn the key to accessory and I turn on all the dome lights. So dome lights are on, all working down the left side of the bus, dome lights on and all working down the right side of the bus. Now that we're at the driver compartment area, the pre-trip inspection, there's a few components to check. The first thing being the emergency kits. We have a body fluid kit that is here and secure, first aid kit that is here and secure, and I'm checking my student mirror to make sure it's in place and secure to the bus, and also the sunshade to make sure it's secure as well. Okay, to continue with the emergency equipment, we have our triangles that are in place and secured to the bus, and also our fire extinguisher, which is secure and tagged as required within the testing limits, and also the gauge is in the green indicating that it's fully charged. I then check my seat to make sure that it's secured to the bus, and then I pull out my seat belt to make sure that there's no rips or tears and that it functions properly as well. Everything with the seat and the seat belt are in good working order. Okay, so to continue the interior pre-trip inspection, I'm looking at the aisle to make sure there's no obstructions. I'm looking at the aisle strip to make sure that there's no sharp edges or missing screws or loose screws. Everything appears to be in good condition. I then start working my way to the back of the bus, checking the seat backs to make sure that they're secure to the frame of the bus. So I push on the seat backs to make sure everything is secure. I'm also looking for rips and tears in the seats as I work my way back through. All the seats appear to be secure to the bus as required. Now that I'm back at the rear door, I'm looking at the emergency exit. The exit is marked as required with the instructions. The door is also marked as required with the instructions on how to open the door. I then open the door to make sure that it's free and that the handle is working properly and that the buzzer goes off. Door and buzzer operates and functions as it's supposed to. Once I'm at the back of the bus, I'm now looking forward. So I'm going to check the bottoms, the seat bottoms, to make sure that they're secure and that there's no rips and tears. I'm also looking at the emergency exits as I work my way to the front of the bus. As I get to my emergency exit, I make sure that the proper markings are on the bus and also the instructions on how to work the emergency exit. Emergency exit and buzzer works as required. The emergency exit in the roof hatch as well is marked with the instructions, and the buzzer works as required. Okay, that completes my pre-trip inspection of the backward area of the interior of the bus. Okay, so as I start my inspection in the driver's compartment, I'm going to put my seatbelt on and then turn the key to accessory. I check to make sure it is blowing air as required, and it is. These are my dome light switches. They're all functioning as required. Front driver's dome is working as well. This is my master switch to turn on my 8-way system and my amber lights. I now activate the amber lights. I'm checking in my front mirrors to make sure the amber lights are on, and then as I open this service door, the red lights will then come on. So I'm checking in my mirror. I could see that the stop sign did come out and the red lights are activated. Also, my crossing arm in front of the bus came out as required and is operating properly. Whenever I turn the switch off, everything retracts and turns off as required. Okay, so I'm going to now check my driver compartment area. with the instrument cluster and all the switches here to the side. Also my shift lever to make sure it's secure, and my steering wheel lash to make sure I don't have more than 2 inches. I turn the bus on to accessory and watch for the warning gauges to come up in the instrument cluster. I'm paying particular attention to the ABS light to make sure it comes on and then goes out as required to indicate that the brake system is working properly. I'm looking at my speedometer. I'm looking at my tachometer. I'm looking at my air pressure gauges to make sure they're working properly and in the required ranges. My oil temperature gauge is functioning, and also my fuel gauge. I'm checking my left turn signal to make sure that it's functioned properly and the light comes on as required. I'm checking the right turn signal to make sure it's functioning. It does come on as required. The hazard warning lights are also functioning, and the lights come on as required. This is my internal external intercom system. Switch functions properly.
Now it's time for the air brake test. What we need to do is turn our bus on to let our pressure build up in the tank. And we're watching these gauges right here. This is our air tank. You have 2 air tank gauges. They should top out around 120 to 140 psi. So we're building up the pressure right now, and we're listening for the tanks to top off. So our tanks just top off. We're going to shut the bus off. Then we're going to turn the key 1 click forward to ensure our air pressure gauges come up to where they need to be. My first evolution that you need to do for an air brake test is release the parking brake, and we have to time it for 1 minute. During that 1 minute, I am watching my pressure gauges to ensure that we do not drop any more than 2 psi in 1 minute. So our 1 minute is up, and the next thing I'm going to do is put my foot on the service brake and start and time again for 1 minute. And we're watching our gauges to ensure that we do not drop any more than 3 psi in 1 minute. Just remember, everything is 1 minute. So if you remember 1, 2, 3, 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 2 psi for here, 3 psi for here. Now, after my 1 minute is up, we're going to start depressing the service brake and watching my gauge for around 60 psi. I will get an audio and a visual alarm. My visual alarm, and you can hear the buzzer for the audio alarm. That's a safety factor. If that happens, you need to get off the road real quick. Then after that, we're going to continue to pump down, placing a light finger on the parking brake, and watch between around 40 psi, my emergency brake should pop off or come on. Now once that has happened, we start the bus. And we have to watch our pressure gauge again for build-up pressure. The pressure needs to build from 0 to 80 psi within 3 minutes. So you'll sit there with your timer for 3 minutes and ensure that it builds between 0 and 80 psi. As you can see, our warning lights went up because we're above 60. We reached the 80 mark within 1 minute, and now between 80 and 100 PSI within 45 seconds. That has been accomplished. Now we're going to just wait until the air tanks top off again. We're going to listen for that pop off sound, which would be between 120 and 140 PSI. When you remove the chocks, sometimes the wheel might be tight, so you'd have to kick them out. You just pull the chocks out, and you take them out and put them in the bus in a secure location. Once that's complete, we are going to place the bus in drive, take your foot off of the service brake, and step on the accelerator to ensure the bus does not move forward. That is successful. Then we're going to take off the parking brake and pull forward at 5 miles an hour, and to hit the brakes, we're making sure the bus doesn't pull left or right and the bus stops smoothly.